Check.
Fiddling champion from way back in the day. What's that you won that contest?
That was 1990. And now we're going to have Chris grab his fiddle. We're going to do a real oldie that we used to do. We got together on the way, well, we live in different places. Chris came down from Idaho, and Ned and I just moved back to the area, actually. And so we, on the way here today, they came by my house, and we had about an hour to work through a few things, so we were going way back. And we grabbed this one out of the past. It's called Faded Love.
Fiddle world, right?
Oh.
You know, there was an old guy, I don't know if you guys remember him, South Betches, some of you do. His name was Buck Milligan. And so when I was a kid, first kind of introduced to this fiddle world was really through Buck Milligan. That's my memory, at least. And Caroline Wheeler. And Buck talked about Bob Wills, how he played music. And this certain song that he liked to sing and play, he was just a kid when he first heard it, and it's called Stay All Night, Stay a Little Longer.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Dance all night, dance a little longer. And he said, you know, when I first heard that song, I didn't question the words, but they sounded really strange to me, because he thought they said, pull off your clothes and throw them in the corner. Stay a little longer. And I'll never forget that. That's Buck Milligan. That's how I remember it. That was the hard way. He learned later, that's not what it really said. We're in a church. Hey, that's what I remember, $3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You forgot we were supposed to do some introductions. So this is Ned. And incidentally, we didn't even plan it this way, but Chris is the oldest, and I'm the next, and then Ned's number 3. And I don't think we've ever maybe done something like this with the 3 of us. It's usually 4 or 6 or...
No, you're usually in Bolivia, and Chris is somewhere, some Texas or something. So here we are together in the same place.
And we put a little note there. Remember, Ned, you got to go back to our notes. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of the Oldtime Fiddlers. And it was, I think, 1982 in the spring, and the Fiddlers Convention was in Roseburg at the fairgrounds, where I thought this was going to be. And they just recently learned it was in Winston, which is great. I like this. But my dad and our family were invited to go because my Aunt Melody, we're going to have you up here at some point, so you better get that fiddle to that. Anyway, my Aunt Melody, my dad's youngest sister, and her parents, my grandparents, had started playing the bass and the guitar and melody and the fiddle. And so they invited us to go to the Oregon Oldtime Fiddlers, and I'd never heard of that before. And had you heard about it before? I never had heard about it before. We just got this, and we were on a farm, and we didn't go to public school. We were home school. We didn't even know what the world was like out there. I didn't know what McDonald's was. I'm serious. We were on that farm working, milking the cows, taking care of the chores. And so we were pretty, very excited about this event. I guess we didn't know what to think about it, because we rarely left our farm. Maybe once a month, every 2 months. I'm serious. Our kids nowadays don't even know what that life's like. Some of you know, but we stayed on that farm.
We know we left the farm now and then, but it was to walk the power line for about 12 miles to Grandma's house and have lunch. And then come home.
So we got this invitation to go. We didn't know what to expect. We went in the car. At that time, Chris was playing the accordion and the piano, and my dad would play the piano a little bit and the accordion, and Mother would sing to us a little bit at nighttime. But that was pretty much all the music we had, except in our home we had a record player. And on that record player, Daddy had gone to Europe during the service, and he loved polka music. He loved accordion polka music. And he liked what was that, the German Schublade, whatever it was called. Oh yeah. So he loved that kind of stuff that's in the Midwest, the big band type dancing and stuff. So anyway, we grew up with all that kind of music. And so we had, I think, a good sense of rhythm. We went to that show that night, and there was a little kid there named Scotty Alexander. I don't know where he is now, but he He was a little boy, and he got up. I remember him getting up and playing the fiddle, and it blew my mind. I was so like, wow, I want to play the fiddle. So that night we went home, and I was inspired to play the fiddle. Never touched it before. And I asked my father if I could get his violin out from under the bed. And that was a very sacred instrument because it stayed under the bed. And it was his instrument he had bought with a lot of money, hard-earned money, years before. So he let me get it out. And the next day I learned this song right here. You see? Song. The next day, I learned the C scale, and I've been playing the piano. My grandma, who was a concert pianist, had been teaching us how to play the piano, but I was one of those. Have you ever been one of those that you just had to play the piano because that's what you did for years? Well, I did it for maybe 6 months or a year, and I didn't really like it. And so that morning, the piano was done. Drop out. It was over. Never played the piano again, and I was on the fiddle. And then shortly after that, Chris and I played a little talent show in Green Origin and won first place. So we were on our way, and the fiddle became the ticket. Not that we didn't love the farm, but the music became the ticket to go out and see the world. So yeah, we thank the Oldtime Fiddlers. After that, many years with the convention, there'd be big jams. I remember this day, all these people, and I wasn't very tall yet. I was only 11. And then 12, the next year. I remember all these big people standing around in jams, and I would come up on the edge and just with my fiddle and just squeak out the notes, learn what they were doing.
Rudi?
So we thank all you guys.
Chris told us yesterday that you'd be up at 3 in the morning practicing for 3 hours before you had to do
That's
your
an
farm.
exaggeration. It was 4 o'clock and it was 2 hours, but that's good. Chris likes to stretch things out a bit sometimes. Make you sound like a real amazing guy.
I like my story better.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do a song that I learned years ago. It's called Listen to the Mockingbird. In fact, when we came in the door, I heard some young man playing it.
Matthew.
It sounded good. All right, ready? bit more about the Oldtime Fiddlers, because Chris wanted us to mention this, and I think we should. But there was a lady named Caroline Wheeler. After, I think I was 14, and we loved fiddling. We loved going to the Oldtime Fiddlers. We'd go up to Albany. We'd go to Cottage Grove. They had one there, and they had, I don't know, quite a few events back then.
I got to interject a little story here about Caroline. So, you know, when you're a kid and you're trying to do something, I don't care what it is, somebody out there that you hear about through the grapevine is just like the superstar of that thing. Anybody ever have anything like that happen? Some people it was a musician, for some people it was a, who knows, somebody, jet fighter pilot or something. But my dad, we had a neighbor there in Yoncalla. Her name was Susan Blanton, and she was a kind of a violin teacher and so forth. My dad went to one of her lessons, and he came home talking about this lady that they had all been talking about, and her name was Caroline Wheeler. And I remember somewhere we acquired this record of this lady wearing these like gold shimmery pants and this violin that had diamonds on it and all this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, I thought to myself as I saw that picture, that lady must be the best fiddler in the world.
I was right behind you. I was right behind you.
We were just, and so that I had this dream as a little kid, probably, I don't know, 11 years old, that someday Caroline Wheeler would come to our house. But she would drive in our driveway and get out of the fiddle, and you know, she did it. A little while after that, and so we were so blessed by people like Caroline, and Rudi and I actually got to go and hang out with her. She did this camp for Portland State University out in Haystack Rock, and we went out there for a couple of years and helped her teach that, and got to really work closely with her and Grant and Tiffany, and you guys know Caroline's family, and it just really was so amazing. You know, when you work hard on a farm and you got cows to milk and all that kind of stuff, you know, things that might be good for you to do, you know, maybe that's why the 50s and 60s were so encouraging to all the folks that built, you know, steel, you know, structures and all that kind of stuff. Maybe that was the encouragement. We worked so hard on the farm that we'd do anything to get off of there. You guys probably can't relate to that. Anyway.
Well, I learned a lot from Caroline. The first year, I never remember helping teach. I remember just being a student that needed to learn. And I went to Caroline and I played the fiddle kind of like this. You know, I put my hand up here and hung on with all my life to that neck. And she said, "You got to get rid of that bad habit." I was like, wow, I got to get rid of that habit. Like, hang on. I couldn't imagine playing like that the way you're supposed to play. So anyway, she worked on me all week. And I got rid of that habit. So it's a collection of many different people, like Chris said, that were heroes to us, that helped us and pointed us in the right direction on the fiddle. And I would go around with my little tape player and record people and go home, and at night I'd sit there in my bed listening. Way too obsessed.
All right.
Well, I remember Vernonia camp out. That was a lot of fun.
How old were you?
I don't know, 12, 13, 14. I remember fishing more than playing music, to be honest. So let's do that song.
Yep, love that. And you know, I will say that growing up on the farm, Mother, we couldn't, you know, not be up here and talk about our music without talking about the God that we love and serve, because He's why we're here today. And Mother, from the time we were very young, we didn't go to church anywhere. We just were on the farm and we read the Bible some, but to us it was kind of just a big black book that was kind of boring. But Mother would sing to us, you know, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Just that little short song. And so that was about as deep as my faith was. But God was keeping us during all those years. And we're going to sing a song about how He wants to. Start it off for us.
Like
when you first start playing the violin?
We're going to do this is an old time waltz. Well, this is a waltz that a lot of people know probably already. The Chopin Farewell. It came about through a music camp back there somewhere in New York.
I got a quick little story about this violin before we start this next song. We were in Poland, a country off in the far east of Europe. We were doing a recording project with our kids. This really amazing guy wrote this song about a bunch of songs about they're like biblical story songs, and had a bunch of kids get together and sing it. And he's a Polish guy, and he wanted some English kids to sing, so we took our kids up there. And on the way back, our van, we had this little van. We lived in Ukraine at the time, and our little van broke down and had a little issue, and so we had to find a place to spend the night somewhere in the Carpathian Mountains in the south of Poland, and found this little Airbnb for a decent price, and our whole family there, and so I decided to get up my fiddle and just play a little bit in the living room. And I'll tell you guys that have fiddles, you probably already know this, but never leave your violin sitting on a couch, leaning up against the back of the couch. We have two young boys wonderful kids that we adopted from Ukraine, and they were wrestling in there. They were swinging each other around. And one let go of the other one, and he landed square on this violin, and he crushed the top end. He snapped the neck off, and he comes into the room where I was sitting there for a minute, and he says, "Oh, Dad, I just broke your violin." And I thought, "Oh, you're kidding." And he's like, "No, I'm serious." So I went there. And of course, there's nothing you can do about it, but there's a guy in Portland that took this thing, and it took him about a year, and he rebuilt this thing. It totally snapped the neck off. The most incredible repair job I've ever seen. So I got to, this thing has new life now. So I think it sounds better than it did before. So you just never know. But yeah, never leave your violin sitting up. That's for all you young folks out there. Oh, what are we playing? So very well. Try to play this over there. Feature Chris on the piano for this next song. Yeah, on the piano. You and Ned, this is a special. I'm just standing back and kind of observe this. Okay, they're going to let me.
He pretends to think he can't just play along with the song. So I won't pressure you, Rudi, but you're welcome to join in if you like.
Join in.
This is an old Bob Wills tune, another Buck Milligan inspiration.
where depending on Ned's technology, instead of a piece of paper up here, he's trying to hunt down our list. Everything, you know, another thing, the difference in the world today versus years ago is technology everywhere. I don't know that I'd have learned how to play the fiddle if it was nowadays. Okay, we're going to do, ooh, that's right, we have a special, okay, we are going to do a special thing for you. I'm going to play 3 of the songs, pretend like you're at Weezer, Idaho, and I'm going to drag from the past these 3 songs that I would have played if I'd have gone on stage in the National Fiddle Championship. Okay, so you guys got to bear with me. I'm going to do a hoedown and a waltz and a tune of choice. You know how that is? You have a 4-minute time limit to do those. But we're not going to do the time today. We're going to remove that stress. All right, it's been a lot of years, so Chris is the one that said I had to do this. All right.
That would be appropriate.
Okay, the songs, I'll pretend like I'm the announcer. The next contestant is Rudi Booher from Yoncalla, Oregon. His hoedown, Stop of the Gravy, the waltz is Gardenia, and his tune of choice will be Black and White Rag.
Thank you, Rudy. I was right back in Legion for a minute. Oh, hey. Looks like I've got some twin fiddle songs next. It says twin fiddle right there, so it's not me. I do not play fiddle. You know, I remember that first beginning when we started. It was down here in Roseburg. There was a talent show. We saw somebody, right? And that kid won some money, like $100 or something, right, at this talent show. So it wasn't just a complete innocent, oh, I just want to play fiddle. It was so fun. It was, hey, there's money involved. And maybe that's how I saw it, and they didn't, and they're just innocent as can be about it. But I know that we go play for the senior center in Yoncall, and sometimes we'd walk there to play, but most of the time someone drove us. And we had this little soup can that we'd set out. Yeah, you know, Campbell's soup, the little teeny one. And at the end of the day, there was maybe $1.25 in there, $1.50.
I think it's more like $6 or
No,
something.
well, I just remember getting a quarter. That was it. And so we go to, I think you held out on me or something. And we go down to Ken Dow's Hardware and buy these paper kites that had a balsa stick and paper wrapped around them. And they were 25 cents. And those little airplanes, you wind up the little, it's a quarter. And I think there was penny candy there too, so we spend our money at Ken Dow's from playing music and walk back home or get picked up.
Okay.
We spent a lot of hours practicing at that community center. We did.
Did anybody here ever go to the dances at the Sutherland Community Center? We used to go there and play. No? I think we do that like 4 hours every few months. We just play all those old-time fiddle songs. A lot of people were very patient with us, I think, back then.
We're going to do this little tune that I heard on an old Willie Nelson album. And you know, it's interesting. Willie must be incredibly old because when I was a little kid, he was really old. He's got to be way up there somewhere. So anyway, I got to play with Willie a couple times, and I will tell you that he is entertaining and one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And super fantastic guy, and just you know, just an interesting character. Anyway, quite the entertainer. He still brings big crowds. He still gets out there and plays for them, I guess. I haven't heard. There's not a lot of those old entertainers left. We lost quite a few in the last few years, so anyway. So we're going to do a little tune called Twinkle Little Star. It's a little instrumental. It was on one of those records from way back when. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this tune before, but anyway, it was something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. very much. I just want to say this. I was down here yesterday with a bunch of you fine folks, and I had a really incredible time. And I just want to thank you so much for just opening the doors for us and letting us take part in what you guys have going on. We really want to support you in every way that we can, and you guys really supported us when we were kids growing up, and I can thank you guys for so many wonderful experiences that I personally had in my life, and because of music, I ended up with a band in Texas. Some of you have heard of them, and stepped off the bus one day after about 4 years with them, and there's this beautiful girl standing there, and that was 26 years ago, and 9 children, and we're still married. She's not running a business that we just got a hold of. But, you know, in a roundabout way, that story is true of Rudi too. Because my parents were in Anaheim, Texas. Is there an Anaheim, Texas? California, I think, right? Disneyland, right? So my parents were down there doing some kind of a deal that's trying to promote the family band when all of us kids, and I think I was about 21 or so, maybe 22, and we had these friends that were driving down there to see their friends, and they invited me to come along and help drive. A family full of young girls, I think, was the deal. And I think maybe the mom had ulterior motives or something. I don't know where that went, but anyway, so got down there and I met the friends of the friends, and they were this wonderful family named the Johnson family. And the fact is, Grandpa Johnson is sitting right back here at the mill. And you gotta stand up. There you go. Yeah, he's here with us today. And one of his amazing daughters, he has 8 kids, and they're a phenomenal family, and you'll probably hear more about them. Some of you may already know who they are. And so anyway, one of his beautiful daughters, Carla, sitting right over here.
She's actually coming up. She doesn't know, but she's going to join me.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So there you go. I didn't even know she was coming, but here she is. Yeah. We actually have only...
This is the only way he gets me on stage is to spring it on me. But I'm so pro, I can handle it. Just watch.
She is. She's a pro. Yeah. You know what? So Chris and Ned and I, we have just close, our married years are close to 90 years. So Ned's 31, we're almost 30. Chris is like close to 20, I don't know, 26. Yeah. So anyway, we would be very, what's the word for it? Without our wives, where would we be? Yeah.
Amen.
So they're amazing. An amazing wife. And our two of our youngest children are here sitting down the front row. Chris has 9 children. We have 9 children. Ned has 4. So what's that? So like 22 children between the 3 of us. So we'd be a big gang if all of us are up here. We're going to sing a song. I just wanted to testify that this song is like a really important song to me, and I was a Weezer before. I think before I won the Nationals, that I realized that whole music world was pretty dark. And I hate to say that to people, but it's a dark world out there. And my friends drank alcohol, and they were some of the best fiddlers in the country, and I realized this is not for me. So one year at Weezer, a friend of mine and I said, we're not going to touch that stuff anymore. And so we didn't. And the next day, we got up, it was right in the middle of the week. I lost all those friends. They were never really my friends anymore. But I hadn't, in my heart, hadn't cut them off. But just me saying, I'm not going to touch that stuff anymore, changed my life at that time. I didn't even know it was Jesus that was reaching down and changing me. But I ended up coming to know him, and I am coming to know him more and more. And this song talks about our testimony. It's called He Touched Me, an old Gaither song.
And
second born. So I got to stand back and watch the mistakes Chris made. I would know when to talk to our dad. But anyway, I want to introduce my father, Michael Booher. Daddy, raise your hand. And my mother, Dolores Booher. She's a wonderful mother. Daddy's a wonderful father.
Fiddlers that we've known in the past, and just names like Bill Yowie and Buck Milligan and some Lou Bolt and Stan Gosharowski, and just you could just go on, and they're all gone now. So we hope to meet them on that beautiful shore. I said Bill Yowie. I mean, yep.
There's only one thing, and it's so easy, but the whole world, it says God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth on him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And God is literally standing out, holding out his arms, saying, come unto me. And all we got to do is believe. You know? The disciples came to Jesus, and they were really wondering about something, and they said, what must we do to do the works of God? And all he said was, believe on him whom he hath sent. And Jesus is the only one that rose from the dead. God sent him, and all we have to do is believe, to be there on that beautiful shore. Praise the Lord.
Sweet streams of grain, red roses too.
song that we've had a lot of requests for. We won't even let you request it today, because we'll do it before you request it. It's called the Orange Blossom Special. How would you guys like to come and help us sing Amazing Grace? You got here for the last song. And I'm a terrible sucker for asking people up. Grandpa Johnson, could you come up and join us on this one? Mother and Daddy, could you come up and join us? Not the kids. We're going to get some family up here to help us. And Aunt Melody, would you get up here and help us?
Keep recording for you.
Please. It's a tradition in our family when we did our family show years and years ago that we would end with Amazing Grace. Because it is, life itself is Amazing Grace, just to have this practically today. So we want to get that. I'll let David and Adriana, my younger children, off the hook because they're a little shy today. That's okay. I know what it was like. I used to be very shy. And guess what? Just walked in the door, our number 2 son, Miles Booher, and his beautiful wife, Mary. Sorry guys, put you on the spot, but it's so good to have you here.
So don't hide Chris. Don't hide Chris. Thank you.
Amazing
really appreciate
Thank you very
it.
much.
God bless you all. Thank you, Miles and Rick.
Hey, Rudi, I had an idea. Okay, would anyone like to hear a boogie woogie tune from Chris Booher?
Yes, 1 minute. Let's just have the 1 minute to play the song.
My watch says 5 minutes. Oh, that clock must be fast. Okay.
Because he's trying to get the pack around a little bit early, so.
I've played this in a very long time. Let's see, here we go.
Thank you all. Good time. We don't get to do this much, so this is awesome. We're super honored to be here. Thank you guys very much for including us and the Oldtime Fiddlers for all these years. And we really hope for the success of the organization for years to come. And I pray that one of us will look at somebody else and inspire them to come on board. And you know, if somebody took a fiddle and they showed us showed Rudi a few things, and they showed me a few guitar licks and a few chords, and the next thing you know, this whole generation of music and stuff was born. And I just want to encourage you guys, when somebody's sitting there going, "Can you help me play this?" Don't turn them away. Show them what you got. I know Joey's down there doing that. I know you guys have a great resource there to be wonderful thing to share. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.